Bricked up and bricked out, right? Mad thing, right? Some of you may have seen or heard last night, like on Twitter, the internet going crazy about this woman that got bricked, right? And if you haven't, go check it out, right? And if you're English, I recommend you don't type in woman gets bricked. Type in woman gets hit by brick, right? Because Americans' use of slang is it's not the same, right? There's probably some shit you don't want to see, right? So make sure you type in woman gets hit with brick, right? But that aside, right? Off the bat, I just want to say this and qualify this straight up and down, right? I'm against violence that's not self-defense, right? That's not used in self-defense, right? Life-threatening situations. And secondly, I'd like to say the man that hit the woman with a brick is wrong, right? And he's wrong for a plethora of reasons, right? But that's not the topic of discussion, right? That is the causation, right? But it's the aftermath that I'm interested in, right? So this woman has been hit with a brick now, right? And she goes on her camera and she's showing herself being hit and she's showing all the people around there. But what's happening is she's screaming and going off at the men, right? Just bystanders that have nothing to do with the situation, right? And she's screaming like, none of you just stood there and watched, like you didn't do nothing, right? And obviously to some people, this is triggering to some people, right? And it's not to other people for a variety of reasons, right? But you know what the internet is like, right? The internet is mad, right? It's full of crazy people. So people decided to go and dig up receipts on this girl, right? And there's footage of her out there slapping men and being just straight misandrist, right? And just saying awful things about men in general, right? So the internet's dug up receipts, and then obviously people will argue and say, right, does that justify her being hit with a brick, right? And it doesn't, right? It doesn't. No matter what she said, how bad the stuff she said about men, it doesn't really justify being hit with a brick, right? But the aftermath of it is deep, right? Because she in an earlier video before she gets bricked, right? She's saying, like men don't protect and provide and do nothing, women protect and all that. Like, she's probably giving it the large, right, about men not protecting and providing, right? Now some women will say, right, they proved her point, right? They didn't protect her. But the problem is this, right? What you need to understand is, and what I would recommend, right? Men should never ever throw their life away, right? And especially throw their life away for a stranger, right? Be it a woman or a man, right? For a variety of reasons, right? But it's most important that we stop this old foolish narrative of self-sacrifice and patriarchal or misogynist viewpoints that women are weaker, right? And women aren't perpetrators of domestic violence and violence in general, right? Because women are equally as capable and equally guilty of committing violence against men and boys, right? They're very much so violent, right? And not only physically violent, emotionally violent too, right? Psychologically violent. So get that out of your mind straight away from the gun, right? From the jump, yeah? This isn't the olden days of chivalry, right? And to the men that still think like that, I would ask you, where has that gotten you, right? Because women and feminists don't believe that that's good for them, right? They don't believe that your coddling of them, believing them to be weak is good for them, right? And it's not, right? Because let's be frank here. The right woman can knock out the right man, right? Straight up and down, right? So don't ever consider yourself stronger just because you're a man, because a woman can and probably will knock you out, right? So don't get that messed up. But all of that aside, right? This woman was on the camera. Obviously, she might be like an influencer or whatever. We don't know her actual backstory, right? But she's on the camera a lot, right? So clearly she's after attention, right, by doing this, right, and screaming at these black men that have nothing to do with the situation, right? She's clearly after attention, right? Because what she should have done after she's got hit and regained her consciousness or whatever, right? She should have got that camera out and filmed the assailant, right? The person that did it, right? Not jumped on the camera and selfied and been like, look at all these men, they didn't do nothing, right? Typical men, yeah, you know what I mean? Typical men, right? Good, right? Good. Because you know what? They are not responsible for you, right? And the problem is what society would have men and boys, particularly black men, think that we have to throw ourselves on the stake or the cross, right? To protect these people that think so little of you anyway, right? That wouldn't even lift a fingernail to help you if it was you, right? Don't throw your life away, because all it takes is for one thing to happen that ruins your entire life, right? All the people that's depending on you, right? All of your future opportunities, all of the things you're building right now, you're going to throw it away for some woman that you don't know and that hates men anyway, right? Why do that, right? So it doesn't make sense, right? Because as most sensible men understand, adult men, right, the potential for violence is very high, right? And if you engage in combat, there's a 50-50 chance that you might die, right? And the other person might die, right? So it's better to not engage in combat at all, right? Even if you feel like you're justified in it, yeah? It's better to talk a situation out, right? And if you must go to violence, only go to violence in self-defense, right? Or in preemptive self-defense, right? Otherwise, don't do it, right? Keep your fucking hands to yourself. And to the man that bricked that woman, you're a dickhead, right? You should have kept your hands to yourself, right? But what you need to understand is this, right? The type of man that bricks a woman, right, and is not in self-defense and not protecting his life, yeah, isn't the type of man that cares, right? He clearly doesn't care about any kind of structured morality or right or wrong, right, to an extent, right? And if he's gonna brick this woman, right, this stranger, which, like, we don't know the whole story. We've been told, right, that she didn't give her number to this person, but it seems a bit choppy. Like, it might be more nuanced to that, right? Because who's just going from 0 to 100 over a number, right? There has to be some layer of disrespect in there, right? But that aside, right, if that type of man is gonna brick this woman, right, and these men that are just absolute strangers to the situation, bystanders, decide to go and get involved, right, and try to put hands or do something to this man that just bricked a woman, right, we've already like psychoanalyzed his potential for violence is very large, right, very great, right? So the level of violence he's just carried out on this woman, right, would probably be scaled up by 100 to a man that's going to approach him based on the already heated situation, right? He's probably going to be either willing to shoot, stab, kill, maim, you name it, right, to this person that would get involved, right? So luckily and good that these men didn't get involved, right? Because they would have potentially thrown their life away, right? Even if that man didn't hurt them and they hurt that man, they might have ended up hurt, right? They might have got time, right? They may have thrown away their life, right? Completely, right? And this is what men need to understand. Modern men need to understand, right? Never go out on a whim, right? Or go and commit proxy violence on behalf of a woman, even if the woman's your girlfriend, your sister, your cousin, your family, your mother, right? Because we've just seen what happened with that boy that went in a shop and shot the man for his mum, right? He's gonna fucking do life, right? But the mum isn't gonna do life, right? But it's her fault, right? It was her situation and she caused him to shoot the man on her behalf, right? So you need to understand that as men, and especially black men, stop throwing your life away for these people, right? Now, if this person is in your care, in your protection, right, in your circle, you're with them and something happens, yes, stand up and help them, right? Because it's the right thing to do, right? But do not ever go and get involved in something that you're not the catalyst of, right? And you're not directly involved with, right? I'll give you an example like this. And it's an example that Jay Wise has given, right? Go check out his channel, right? But listen, you have a female cousin, right? And your female cousin has a man and whatever, right? And they're going through whatever they're going through, their ups and downs, right? Now, your female cousin one day comes running to you saying, he hit me, he done this to me, going crazy, right? And she emotionally riles you up, right? Manipulates you to go and then do something to the boyfriend, right? So you ride out now, you do whatever you do to the boyfriend. You might mash him up, you might kill him, you might do whatever you do, right? You might kidnap him, right? But then he snitches, right, on you, right? And then you get nicked now, right? And you're in pen, right? And your cousin's not providing you no money, no nothing, right? No, not even acknowledgement that you did what you did on her behalf, right? And here's the killer, right? And this could be your cousin, your sister, whoever, right? Your ex, whoever, right? She and the man, yeah, are gonna reconcile, right? And their relationship's gonna get back together, right? while you're living out the consequences. Or you might even have got rubbed out of existence by this boyfriend, right? And you're just gone, right? But the woman and the man are going to reconcile, right? And you're going to be the one that's the bad guy to both of them now, right? But you did what you did on the behalf of this woman in the name of chivalry, right? And not even the name of chivalry like knights and kings and stuff, no. Just chivalry out of the potential that, if this woman's not related to you, of course, you may get some sexual favor in return, right? Or you just may get some commendation in social hierarchy, right? But you've just thrown away your life, right? You fucked up all the people that depend on you's life, right? You fucked up your job, right? You fucked up your housing situation, your financial situation, your kid's life, your future for some idiot, right? For some domestic violent act that's between two people, or some street violent act that's between two strangers to you, right? Do not get involved. Don't throw your life away, right? And there's a lot of people that's going to be like, that's bullshit. I'd get involved. I'd do this and that, all right? Ask that person, right? When's the last time that they had a fight? And listen to what their answer was. And then if they say they did have a fight, ask that person, was that fight something that you caused, or was that fight something that someone else caused, right? Because the chances are, if they had a fight recently on the behalf of someone else, it was because of their own ego, right? And their own problem starting. They started the fucking problem, right? Because smart, logical people don't go around fighting people, right? There's better ways to solve problems, right? So to that woman, I'm sorry that you got hit by a brick, right? But I'm not sorry that the men that you started filming and shouting at didn't help you, right? They did the right thing, because you should have just called the police, right? And what you would have had was individuals on standby to say, yes, that happened, right? But what you've now done is put those people in a bad situation, right? You put their faces on camera, you've called them out, cussed them out like as absolute strangers, right? And you've made your problem their problem, right? And it's not their problem, right? And it's not the whole world and the internet's problem. It's not our problem, it's your problem, right? And it's sad that you went to that extent, because we're obviously, the internet dug up receipts, right? And we saw how you was treating men and the shit you was doing before, right? But for you now to be crying on camera in the hospital with a big Martin Lawrence face, right? You're doing it for attention, right? And it's not a political thing, right? People are going to use this to their agenda, to their political agenda, right? And to change and manipulate laws in favor of feminism and all kinds of weird shit, right? Political stuff. People are going to use this, right? Of course, because it's always easy to manipulate public opinion based on some shit that's happened, right? If you know how to spin, right? So people are going to use this. But the problem is, she was wrong, right? Not she was wrong that she got hit, because maybe that was out of her control, maybe that wasn't her fault. But her actions after the fact she got hit were wrong. Running to the internet, ensuing this uproar of female aggression against men, right, based on one individual's experience, is wrong, right? Because you've just put men in a deeper situation where, even more now after all of the Me Too shit, we don't want to help you, right? Because you're gonna go back and do some fuck shit like what she did on the camera, right? What if a man had helped her and she still whipped out the camera while this man's beating up her assailant? Now this man's gonna get fucked for helping you, right? Do you understand? So it's a lose-lose for any man involved in this situation. And reading the room online and seeing the way some women are thinking, some men are reacting, right? Because it's not all, right? And I guarantee you, there were women there at the situation too, right? That could have jumped in too, right? Because like we said, we are not in the age of underestimating the potential and power to do violence from women, right? If you are, you're under an illusion, right? Women are capable of violence amongst themselves and on men and boys, right? They do it all the fucking time, right? So for a woman like that, yeah, that's so blatantly misandrous and feminist, expecting men to jump in after the fact that she's completely dismissed men from life, right? Why wasn't she looking for women to jump in and help her, right? Because then if she's looking at it like that, then surely she's also misogynist to women, right? She doesn't think women are capable of helping her physically. That's not true. We've seen set it off, right? We've seen all kinds of situations where Big Mama comes down and fucks shit up and leaves, right? We've seen it, right? So what is the real reason here? What is the real political agenda here, right? You want to shame men. That is what you want to do, right? And you want to make men out to be weaker than they actually are. Because the real warriors of the world, they take, they crush, they dominate, and that's women, men, and children. They don't care, right? You, the type of people you are, you don't want them people around, right? Because you will not be able to handle how they put you under manners, right? You won't like it. So you need to decide where you are in this world, right? If you want to get along, if you want to go along to get along, or you want to dominate and control, right? You've got to decide. You can't play both and keep jumping the line, right? Nothing against women in a whole, as a whole, and nothing against that girl as a whole, right? But just to reiterate the point, right? Men and boys, do not throw your lives away for these girls and women, right? Don't get involved in their shit. Let them sort it out themselves. If anything, advise, stand by, protect your premises, protect your property, protect your family, protect your friends, but do not get dragged into a situation, and use discernment and judgment, right? Get all the facts, the details first before you act, right? Don't shoot first, ask questions second. That's dumb, right? That's dumb. We're not doing that anymore. We're thinking and going forward as men, right? We're going to expand our consciousness across society, not unconsciousness, right? So, bam. Don't be like that idiot girl, and don't be like the dickhead that bricked her, right?